You're having a baby, you got a business, you about to go on maternity leave. There's going to be some things that you're going to be ready for, some things you're not going to be ready for. Preparing for maternity leave as a business owner is definitely different. I'm no expert, but since I'm slowly coming out of my maternity leave, this is some things I've done. And even for you to kind of think about, because maternity leave, especially if this is your first time having a baby, your world is going to be a little rocked, not in a bad way. And I don't want it to be like she's only saying it because it's her experience. You're going to be a different woman after you have your baby. And after you have each of your babies, you're going to be a different woman. So I just want you to kind of like mentally prepare about and think about that. Like what you want now may not be what you want after you have your baby and after you're ready to come back, depending on how your birth goes and everything like that. So I just want you to keep in that mind. If you're new here, my name is Sabri. I'm a system strategist for mompreneurs. I help moms build systems so they can stop being pulled in every direction and actually have time for their dream life. And so let's get into it. The first thing, know when you are going on leave. Are you going to go a little bit before you have the baby? Are you going to go like right before? Are you going to like just wait until the baby's here? Know when you want to go. My baby was due in October, so I just took the quarter four off. Well, when I started my business with my first daughter, after I had her, like a year later, I was still in business with my son, but I was still working on things. But I really didn't even know what I was doing back then. But so this is the first time I took a maternity leave as a mom of three. So you live and you learn. But just know when you're going. Kind of figure out. I would suggest, this is just my suggestion. You do not have to take my advice, but I would suggest kind of like easing your way into having your baby. So I would start like whenever you feel comfortable, like a little bit before you have your baby. You don't have to be a full month. It could be a couple weeks. My baby was due in like the middle of October, so I took like October off, and I worked kind of all the way up until October, and then I kind of did my own little thing, had my own little schedule, but it was really relaxed, and I could just enjoy this last moment of being a mama two before I became a mama three. So that's a simple one. Next, decide if you're going to be working your maternity leave, if you're going to be doing little things, or you're going to be completely hands off. That's going to help you determine if you need help, unless you already have help and you already have a team and they're helping you kind of like plan for that. Just decide on what you're going to do. You can always change your mind later. Third thing, look at how much it's going to cost you to keep running your business. You got to pause subscriptions while you're out if you don't, if you have to keep up with it, or if you're just going to put money aside. I kind of started putting money aside to know what subscriptions still going to come out of my bank account while I was off, and so kind of plan for that. So when I return to client work and stuff like that, I was covered. So just think about it. Like if you got to pause things, this is also a great time to see what subscriptions you're really not using, or if you stop projects and you're like, I'm not using that no more. I cut a lot of things out. I was like, well, I'm not doing that no more. I'm about to be off. Or even when I was pivoting. So that really helped when it came to like managing my costs when I went on maternity leave. If you have a team, I know every mom doesn't have a team, but you have a team, you can start thinking about like what do you want them to work on while you're gone, how you want them to handle things. If you have a virtual assistant or OBM, that will kind of help you run things. So that just depends if you have a team. I do know about team management as my experience from being a VA and helping manage a team. If you have SOPs in place so they know how to reach out to you, when to reach out to you, or if you have like that perfect OBM and VA situation, your OBM can really manage that all for you so you can be completely gone. And there are great OBMs out there, so all you gotta do is look for one. Fifth thing, what it will look like when you're coming back. I would say have no expectations because you have no idea how you're going to be feeling or whatever, but just ease your way back into it. You might have had all these projects that you wanted to do before, but then after having the baby and kind of seeing how your day to day goes, you might be like, I might do something else, or you might stick with it, or it might just look different than how you thought it was. I know for me, with going from 2 to 3, it definitely looked different because I went back to having a newborn and my kids are toddlers. And even though they're all kind of close, when you have like toddlers and a newborn, it's kind of a different balance, especially when you're used to your toddlers kind of not necessarily leaving you alone, but they're playing with each other in their own world. They're not worried about you until they're hungry, ready to go to sleep, or need their diaper change. You know what I'm saying? But a newborn is waking up every 2 hours to eat, and you gotta be more attentive and like, which is why I'm rocking this way, but being more attentive and things like that. It's going to look different. And I want to say to you that it's okay that it's going to look different. It is all right. The sixth thing, I would say automation. Automate some things. Content creation. When I first started my blog, 2025, plans like 6 blog posts and like wrote it out and everything, and then I published it, and then I kept like a cadence going where I write 2 every week, and then at the end of the month I would schedule them out, or I would just publish them, and then like with my email I would schedule them out and saying that they were live and stuff. But obviously you might like, girl, 2 blog posts a week is crazy. I did not have clients at the time. This is when I took a step back from my business and I started working on like SEO stuff, things that people could find me, but they can be in my ecosystem and just see all that I have to offer. So I started focusing on those things because I had the time. Now you might not have a break from client work. You could just slowly start adding or building a bank and then have it kind of going out. And so I did that with Pinterest too. I think I did like 4 pins per blog post. And so I had it kind of scheduled out. It was a lot at the end of the month, but I really had time because I had no client work. So that's when I just took advantage of my time to like push as much out. And after a while, I stopped because I was getting tired. It was exhausting. Sometimes you also just need a break too. Like it's okay that if you had a goal and you're like, it's, I think I've done enough right now. I'm just going to take a break, which I'm glad I did because I'm kind of going in a different direction too with my business. Not really a super difference, but enough to be like, okay, I know what direction I want to go in now. So breaks are not always a bad thing. It's just a reset. You're not starting over. And then last one, I'm deciding if you're going to have clients on maternity leave. If you're going to have clients or you're going to tell people to pause, make sure you have the team for that. I actually do know somebody. But if you're not going to have clients, obviously send notices to your clients and say, hey, I'm going to be on maternity leave. This is when I'll be back. That's what I did for one client that I still have. And she was understanding, but I also told her that ahead of time. If you already know, go ahead and tell them what you're kind of thinking and keep them in the loop. And if you ever took on new clients, be like, hey, I am taking this break. If you like to be still working when I come back, awesome. And if not, just letting everybody know so you can also gauge like how much money you need to put aside and start saving and things like that. Zhara. I don't know if I'm saying her name right, but I'm going to put her information in the description. She is an OBM and she has a maternity leave toolkit. And so you can kind of go in and see what you kind of need to do to put your business up for success while you're maternity leave. So I'm going to link her stuff below. But these are just some of the ways from my own experience that I've planned for maternity leave and just however you want to show up. If you want to completely stop, if you want to keep posting content, if you want to still have clients, it just depends on your personal preference and what you feel like you want to do. But obviously, if you have the energy, because pregnancy is different for everybody, take advantage of this time before your baby gets here for you to like get all those things that you want to get done. Do not overwork yourself, but this would be the time. So while you're resting, you can just rest and feel like, you know what, I handle my business because I know for me, especially as a mom, I'd be like, I need to get this done. And that's what I did. That's how you would plan for your maternity leave. If you found this video helpful, like, comment, subscribe. If I mentioned like a resource in here that you're like, girl, I don't see it anywhere, let me know and I can send the link in the comments. If you want any insight on systems you can set up in your home and your business, listen to my private podcast. It's free. The link will be in the description. And I share the systems and that I've put in place in my life and business that makes it easier for them to coexist and for you to just listen to a mom who's actively doing it and just how I'm able to work on my business, pivot and stuff with 3 babies at home. The link is in the description. I'll see you in the next video.